Boom, bam, bam. President Chad on the inside, on the United Hour, Manchester United 2, City nil. You can't go wrong as a United fan today. We ecstatic, bouncing up off the walls, an unbelievable showing. It makes you wonder, where was this team all the time? Where was this Manchester United team for the past year plus? Because it's not just since Amarin, it is since Ten Hag. We have not seen this kind of team. If you ever talk about the United way, today was a showing of the United way. Um, we're not in this video going to go through all the details, who scored and who passed or who. This is a reaction video. So, firstly, obviously, as a United fan, I'm ecstatic. I'm off the moon, but we have to address some stuff. The first half, Manchester United should have gone in two, I don't want to say three, about 2-0 up. You know, the first opportunity, Harry Maguire rocks the post. In the entire first half, City had one shot on target. Let me repeat that. In the entire first half, City had one shot on target. You understand what I'm saying? That is how comprehensive our defense was. You know what I mean? Good afternoon to you, Courtney. How you feeling, bro? How you feeling about our win today? We created a lot of opportunities, and as much as I'm excited about the performance, I'm more excited about the result. If we're honest, Manchester City didn't show up today. Actually, from the beginning of this calendar year, Manchester City has not won a Premier League game. They have not been firing. Carrick's setup was perfect. 3 at the back, keeping the middle tight. The wing backs picking up the width, forcing them to put the ball wide, and their inability to get the ball into Haaland. I mean, yes, people would say Maguire and Martinez pocketed Haaland. Martinez had a really important clear up, really important cleaning up job to do in the second half, one particular play. But the reality is, generally, the ball was not coming into Haaland at all. And that was because of the setup. We set up to condense the middle and force them wide, force them playing side to side, and we prevented them getting the ball into Haaland in the first place. So the fact that Haaland didn't get opportunities, that it was a plus. One of the things we need to remember is that Ole Solskjaer had a winning record against Pep Guardiola. And not a lot of people remember that. That Manchester United team under Ole Solskjaer had a winning record, or a winning record against Pep Guardiola. He's one of the few coaches in world football that actually has a positive record against Pep Guardiola. And who was the assistant coach under Ole? Correct. McKenna and Michael Carrick. So Michael Carrick is not a stranger to setting up a team to beat Manchester City. You understand? We need to remember that. And that was the only thing that gave me confidence heading into this game. That I know Carrick knows what it takes. He knows how to beat a Manchester City team, how to beat a Pep Guardiola team. And that knowledge showed up trumps today. We need to remember this team had 3 days practice. 3 days practice. 3 days to produce that level of performance that we saw today. And it makes me wonder how much of the challenges that we have been seeing is really system-based, is really manager-based, and is not really player mentality-based. Because I don't know, almost more importantly than the tactics was whatever Carrick and the coaching setup said to that team, to motivate that team, to get that team to go there and believe that they could go toe-to-toe and beat Manchester City. We have had so many games where we go up, we play, we dominate, and we get 1-0 up and we drop back. We went 1-0 up and we kept pressing. We should have finished that game 3-4 goals ahead. We had all the good chances. We had all the good opportunities. Everything was on our side. We played at Manchester City that I think didn't know how to prepare for us because Amarin was gone. I guess they didn't feel that they knew what Carrick was going to do. And we looked so horrible in our last two games that they must be telling themselves, boy, we just play around with the ball and it'll go in. And you know what? They played around with the ball and it didn't go in. So, that's to our benefit. You know what I mean? Let me just check out some comments. Come on, people. Talk to me. How you all feeling? How you all feeling about that victory? Put your comments in. Like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you haven't subscribed as yet. And share. We build the community up. You know what I'm saying? Courtney is saying he's optimistic. We showed up. We show up for big teams. That is correct. We usually do. And, we set up in our low block and we were able to hit them on the counter attack. One of the things I remember telling a few people, having some conversation with other supporters during the course of the week, and I never felt that we were going to lose both against City and Arsenal. I felt we would have beaten Arsenal and we hopefully could have got a draw against City. And now that we have beaten City, I still think we could beat Arsenal. It'll take a different kind of performance. Arsenal is a slightly different team. But they don't have that prolific of a striker. You have to be a lot more concerned about them scoring goals from set plays, a lot more concerned about the fellas in the middle of the park than against City, where you're just trying to cut the supply to Haaland as your number one priority. So it'll be a little different. The setup against Arsenal is going to be a little different. However, that being said, I still think we could beat Arsenal. I always felt going into these two games that we could get something out of them. At least 3 points, possibly 4. And now that we have the 3 points, I want 6. Now that we have the 3 points in the first game, I want 6 points. You understand what I'm saying? Come on, who agrees with me? Who wants 6 points for Manchester United against Arsenal and City? I mean, smash that like button if it is you want 6 points. Who were the big players for us today? Harry Maguire and Martinez. Clearly, this team missed Brian Mbeumo. This team missed the outlet, the runner, the freak of nature that Brian Mbeumo is. This team missed Brian Mbeumo. And having him and Ahmad back was definitely a boost. I don't think we could have put on this kind of performance without them. Bruno Fernandes in the 10 is unplayable. He is one of the best 10s in world football. Playing him deep for half a season, unfortunately, looked like such a waste after today's performance. After today's performance, it looked like we were wasting time playing Bruno Fernandes next to Casemiro or whoever else in the middle. Clearly, that is not where Bruno Fernandes needs to be. You understand? Yes, Naz talking about looking forward to us destroying Arsenal, and I agree. I am looking for you, looking towards some big points. Tashings is saying that Ahmad was class. Yes, Ahmad was a big player today. 21 is indeed coming, but we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. We're not going to get giddy. I want to ask you all a question. This is a big win against a major rival. We all remember the Ole situation. Ole came in and he won some games and everybody was like, why are we looking for an ex-manager? Yeah, Ole had the wheel. So my question to you, before I shut down the podcast, and I want you all to message and let me get some answers. If Carrick beat City, beat Arsenal, we go on a run, finish high up the table, finish comfortably in the Champions League spots, right? Tell me, I want you all to tell me, would you want to keep Michael Carrick as the head coach, manager Manchester United, or would you want to go forward with the club's intention of hiring a permanent manager in the summer? The names we're hearing on that list is like Nagelsmann, Tuchel, Ancelotti. Those are some of the names. The club has also made it clear they're looking for a manager with Premier League experience. So, would you, if Carrick does a madness, you want to keep Carrick or Carrick at the wheel, or do you want us to go and do what it is the club said they were going to do before? Before we shut it down, let me just bring in the man J Bourne and get his opinion. J Bourne, I don't know if you heard the question that I asked.
Tell me. I didn't hear.
Sorry. I will ask you that question after. Just give me your honest fan reaction to that performance today.
Honestly speaking, our intensity was way higher than we've been used to for the last 3 to 4 weeks. Our intensity was exceptional. I think the way that we approach this game, as someone said in the group, the MUFC group, they played this game like it was a final. And to me, I think that we're supposed to be playing with that intensity and that drive every single game, because every single league game is a final. Because remember, league game is the best out of 38. You have to play 38 games. So no matter who you're playing, you're supposed to give your best out of every single game, every minute that you're running. You're supposed to be playing heart and soul for MUFC. It doesn't matter who we play. We could be playing Brentford, we could be playing whoever. And today, we saw that intensity, we saw that drive, we saw that willingness to win the game. It wasn't just we running out to try and not lose. It was a different MUFC, it was a different Manchester United Football Club today. And that is when last you see Sir Alex Ferguson smile and laugh during any game? When last you see that happen?
It has definitely been a while. It has definitely been a while.
That does not.
I think to be honest, as United fans, I think we were all euphoric. You know what I mean? Even if you had a hard cast on your face, you would have found a way for that smile to shine through. You understand? As a United fan today, because I don't think a lot of people had confidence in us at all getting anything out of this game. I know I had confidence. I didn't expect a win. I expected a draw, to be honest with you. Thought we'd a draw and I thought we'd a win against Arsenal, but you know, I don't think people even expected a draw. I think most people were expecting us to get clobbered, and the fact that we didn't, and we didn't just not we dominated. We, in terms of chances, yes, statistically wise, City had the most possession, but in terms of chances, in terms of the play, we dominated the play. I want to touch on what the Naz is saying here, where Naz is saying he's getting Rooney Tevez vibes from Ahmad and Mbumwater. And he's the second person for the day. Somebody else was talking about Mbumo's goal. And just the whole break, when we broke on them very quickly for Mbumo's goal, and was saying it was very Rooney-esque.
It was. It really was for real. It really was. It was a kind of Rooney goal for real. It gave off that Rooney type energy for a striker. And I'm not even going to stress too much on Mbueno. Mbueno performance today was exceptional, but I want to touch on Cunha. I think Cunha coming off the bench, knowing that he wanted to start and he didn't get the opportunity to start, but he came off the bench and was exceptional. He changed the whole dynamic of the game. So City were trying to get back in the game from the second half, right? If you look at how Cunha was playing, they had to readjust their gameplay to account for Cunha, because Cunha was making their backline a living hell. He was making them totally destabilized because he running left, he running right. He running in all the spaces that were available. He was running in those spaces and he was getting balls and he was running and creating chances.
And it's one of the things I think a lot of fans miss. You know, everybody just want to know the starting 11, you know, who's starting, who's the big players. But when you have quality that could come off your bench, when you have game changers that could come off your bench, because he came off the bench and he got the assist, right, for the second goal. When you have players, as you correctly said, that come off the bench that forces your opposition to change, right? Because they come out with a set plan for the second half. And now, because of what is coming off your bench, they have to adjust. That is a big deal. And I think we will lack it with the injuries and with the absentees. You know, even in the last few days, the last few games of Amarin, is we had no bench. There was nothing coming off the bench. You understand? It wasn't even sideways. Sometimes it was a downgrade because we were looking to play youth, which I don't have a problem playing youth. But ideally, you want to play youth when you're winning. You want to bring youth on when they could get a run and you're comfortably ahead. You don't want to bring
and
youth on.
the thirsty fit. That's when they want to bring on the youth.
You don't want to bring youth on with pressure on their shoulders to come out and try to win a game. You understand? That's unfair for a young player to say, well, yeah, come out there and try to win the game. When the senior players catching their ass, right? That's not how you want to bring.
Look at you, Chad Prezi. You using obscenities.
You don't want to bring youth on in that situation, but that is the situation that we found ourselves in the last few games of Amarin. So Carrick has that advantage of having a little bit of a bench. What would you say about some of the players who were on cool on the outside for a little while? But I can't really say Maguire and Martinez were on the outside. They were injured. But Mino in particular. Mino started, he played most of the game. In fact, he played all the game. You know, what do you thought about Mino's performance, and what did you think specifically about Harry and Martinez's performance? What the guys come on, talk in the comments and let us know what you thought about those three guys.
You know me personally, I was the number one Harry Maguire hater some years back. You know that. And he made me change my perspective on the way that he developed as an MUFC player. He showed that he loves this club. He showed that. I think he proved that by now. And I think all the Harry Maguire haters, if all they logged on right now on the view the stream, whoever in the group chat, like, subscribe, or let's share, whoever we share it to and they're viewing, I just want to let all you all know, all those Harry Maguire haters, you all need to do this, swallow it and take it, because Harry Maguire and Lisandro Martinez locked down the defense. They didn't have no Man City comeback, nowhere coming. Since the game started, they locked down the defense. You can't tell me a club with 70-some% possession in the first half couldn't score. That's because our defense was exceptional.
And it's not just that. They only created one opportunity. They only had one shot.
Because our defense was exceptional. Harry Maguire and Lisandro Martinez had Haaland in his pocket. Haaland couldn't do a thing without Martinez right there with him. And then Harry Maguire right next to two of them, just in case he somehow got past Harry Maguire. So it was a very well played defense, first half and second half, in my opinion.
Even though we talking about Harry Maguire and Martinez, the reality is the low, and even though the low has been coming in for a lot of stick from United, right? Correctly so, because the low has been seeming like the weakest link on the team for the past few years. But the low and Dogu today did well because we were forcing them to push the ball to the wings. And those guys did an excellent job of cutting all the service. So, Haaland in the middle. So, you know, the entire defense, I think did a great job. You know, we played a back three or back five, they want to call it that. And it worked.
Nah, I don't think so. Chad, let me go back to, remember last week when we had Ole Talk, right? It was Sunday, not today. And I brought out my whiteboard and I did the whole tactical experiment to show you all exactly what goes. When today, Dorugu did not play left back, right? Luke Shaw played left back. Dorugu played left wing. And look at the difference in his performance today as opposed to when he plays left back. And as I said before,
I agree with you.
He's not a good defender. And I'm not trying to bash him or nothing, but look how much better look how much more comfortable he looked in that position.
I agree with you, but his responsibility was still dealing with their right wing player.
And he did it. And he did that. He could do that from that distance. He could do that from that distance. Yeah, he could do that from that. He can't do that in a left back position because he's too deep. When you're in left back, you're too deep. If you make a mistake, somebody running past you and any goal. From left wing, he could still pressure men and be able to keep up with them because he has the speed to keep up with them to track back properly. But in left back, you don't have that much time to track back. Positioning and everything, and that is what Shaw does. That is what Shaw stands out with for me. Shaw is no longer like how we know Shaw from 5 years ago. Shaw is a position player. He plays proper positioning when he defending. Dorugu has to play a more, even if he tried to play position, he doesn't have the experience or the ball knowledge to play positioning because he didn't play that much football yet. What I can tell you today, him and Dorugu together was a perfect match because Shaw was playing positioning. Shaw was playing positioning and he was playing track back. And that's what you need.
We didn't bring Dorugu in to be a left back. We brought him in to do exactly what he did today, which is to be a winger and to be a wing back. So I have no problem with Dorugu's play. The idea is to try to facilitate him into the team consistently. So let's look forward. We're happy we're jumping up. We're going to be celebrating for the whole week. We're going to bring out all the kits and wear every day for the rest of the season. I was going to ask J-Bone. Okay, there he's back. How you feel about the Arsenal game?
Well, I didn't view the Arsenal game. I can't give an honest.
We didn't play Arsenal as yet. How are you feeling about the Arsenal game?
Oh, the upcoming Arsenal game? I'm feeling confident. If these guys run out with this mentality, and I want to use that word very, very strongly, you see, this mentality today is the mentality that we expect of you as a Manchester United player. This is the mentality you need to adopt. And this is what they didn't have previously. And that was one of the main problems I had with them before. And I used to stress on that every single time I come on the show. They had a problem with their work ethic and their mentality. I think Carrick, whatever Carrick telling them, whatever they just be talking about during training, during halftime, during whatever, he getting the best out of these players. And I want to see this until the end of the season. And I think if this continues, we can have a very strong run and end up in the top 4. And I said that since last week, before Carrick even took over.
We on the cusp of the top 4. I think ending in the top 4 at this stage is really not that hard of a thing to do. So I think we will be disappointed. I would be disappointed. Even if we lost these 2 games, I would still be disappointed if we didn't make top 4. Because I think at a minimum, we should be able to do that. So let's see.
It's an open ballpark right now. Open.
Yeah, let's see how much more we could do. Well, all right, J-Bone. Nice to have you on the inside. We are hitting the 25-minute mark. We're looking to jump out. Remember, comment. We want to know how you feel. The question of the week that we're going to be checking out. You guys can discuss it tomorrow. Looking at the comments we have on the show today is, if Carrick goes on to beat Arsenal, finish comfortably in the top 4, does a madness like Ole when he first came, would you want us to keep Carrick or would you want us to go after a top level manager? That is the question. Comment on it, and these guys will talk about that tomorrow. Please go on for Ole Talk. So Ole Talk is tomorrow, right on United Hour around 3 o'clock. I believe 3 o'clock you guys log in on tomorrow, right? So 3 o'clock
Yeah.
tomorrow. You all have a date. Don't be late. Remember, Red Devils don't die. We multiply. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, people, and your whole week ahead next week because we're riding high after that game today.
Yes, definitely.